Hello everyone and welcome back to the Ryan Retro channel. In today's video we're going to be checking out Xbox emulation using Rocknix. I am very excited for this because I have so many excellent Xbox games from my childhood to try out. Now let me temper your expectations a little bit. I do not expect this to go very well. Xbox emulation is spotty at best. Even with a powerful computer, it's not really that mature yet. So on a little handheld like this, we can't really expect too much, but it's fun to try it out. So let's see what we can get running. Let's go alphabetically, and I have a lot of videos for you here. This might be a long video. You might want to strap in. So let's begin with Modellista. The audio doesn't sound very good. This is a good representation of how the emulation on Xbox isn't working very well, because we're able to emulate this on PlayStation with a 5x upscale, which is just crazy. But on here, you can hear the audio is really struggling. But never mind about the audio, how well does it run? With systems like Xbox and Dreamcast back in those days, you can launch a game, just spam the continue button and get into a game. I miss that in today's games. On first glance, the graphics look quite poor as we're running this at a 1x native resolution, which is quite low. I believe it's in the region of around 600 by 400 or something like that. I'm also not sure how to get FPS up on the screen, but I would say this FPS is around 8, 15. It actually feels like the FPS isn't that low. Maybe the FPS is around 15 to 20 frames per second, but the game's just running in slow motion. There is a compatibility list for Xbox, which I'll show on the screen now and I'll provide a link to in the description below. For today's video, I have compiled a lot of games they claim run perfectly on the emulator, as well as some from my childhood that I'm just really curious to try. Even with a low resolution, Modellista just looks gorgeous on the Retroid Pocket 5's OLED screen. I love the cel-shaded graphics, to me that never gets old. But the problem is, we are definitely running in some kind of slow motion. If I bring up the settings here, we can jump into the settings, but you'll see there are not too many things we can change. We have an emulated CPU clock override. We'll try and just smash that CPU clock up to the maximum and see what happens. Maybe we'll get better performance, maybe we'll just crash the system, let's find out. When it comes to the internal resolution scale, I was hoping we'd be able to turn it down to 50% or 75%, but it seems we're only able to increase it. So now with that CPU override, we don't seem to have any different performance. Let's do something crazy. Let's increase the resolution. Let's go for a 3x upscale and just see how it looks. We know we're not getting good performance, so let's just see how it looks. Straight away, it looks much sharper and a lot nicer than it did before. But as expected, it is still definitely not in a playable state. So, if you'd like to play a very nice looking slow motion version of Modellista, you can do that, but obviously this is not what we're looking for. So let's move on to the next game. The next game is Battlefield 2 Modern Combat. I don't expect it to run well again, but I'm just excited to get any Battlefield game running on the Retroid Pocket 5. I was a huge fan of Battlefield growing up, so I'm really looking forward to this one. Battlefield 2 just gives us a black screen, but I am hearing sound. Oh, there we go. By just spamming the start button, we got into a game. Play first mission. From that stuttering audio and what we experienced with Modellista, I don't have the highest hopes for this one, but let's just try. Oh, we have a picture. It's very dark. We seem to be running at a much better frame rate than Modellista. Still definitely not close to a frame rate I'd like to be at, but much better than what we had before. Oh, turning round. Oh, there's someone right here. Hello? Hello? Oh, turning round is very difficult. This is somebody. Oh, I found their spawn. Uh-oh, I'm dead. I was going to say I could spawn camp them, but I just got wrecked instead. Well, if at first you don't succeed, try again. I mean, can we call this playable? I'm technically playing it. Once again, we have very scratchy audio and extremely slow performance. I mean, if I'm being genuine, this is not a playable experience. I am playing this game somewhat. We're in like slow motion. I can't even see these enemies. I'm just shooting at red diamonds. I don't even see anyone. What I'm going to do is quit the campaign and try the challenge mode I saw in the menu. We're now in challenge mode, which is an assault rifle weapon challenge. I don't really know why I'm even bothering trying this, but let's just see what happens, I guess. Ah, I was trying to find if there's a way to look through the sight. It's by clicking in the right stick. Oh, these button controls are really odd. Oh my god, I just went down to the ground in slow motion. I keep pushing Y to try and reload my gun, but all that happens is I extremely slowly get down to the ground. This is cursed. Let's try another game. Next up, Burnout 3 Takedown, another classic. Judging based on the sound only, this one is a little bit smoother and faster than the previous two. I'm not sure if that will translate at all into the game, and the video looks very laggy, so I don't think it does, but the sound is definitely better than the other ones. So I am extremely slightly optimistic. Let's try a single event. Let me just try and think what will be the least intensive on the system, or on the emulator, I should say. Now that is the smoothest video we've seen so far.
Just need a few minutes of your time to cover the rules of the Burnout Road.
Did he say a few minutes? It is actually making me sit through minutes of this informational training, so I'm just ordering food. I'm thinking this one, which is called Bottom of My Heart, Master of Meat. Oh, we're into the game, and I can hear the Retroid Pocket 5's fan spinning up and down constantly. I've never experienced that in Android before. Oh, wow. And I'm actually not sure how to check the performance mode on this. We are definitely getting the best performance so far here. It's still not even close to what I'd want it to be, but it's definitely the best we've had so far. Bang! This is definitely the best performing game we've had so far. I can really feel that fan blowing the air onto my hand. Wow. I accidentally quit out of the game, and I'm not going through that whole tutorial again. So let's move on to the next game. So far, that one is winning. Next up, we have one that I'm hoping should be easy to run. Chessmaster. Let's play against Jenna. Oh, we're now into the game. I did not realise the game has started. It's a little bit hard to judge the frames per second, considering it's a static game, but maybe we'll see when I make a move. So I'm going to move this pawn. There. And let's just look at the frames per second when I do this. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, pretty smooth. This one's pretty smooth. When I rotate the board, it is a bit sluggish, but I would say this looks pretty smooth. So let's see what we can play around with here. So in the settings, we have enable CPU override all the way. Real-time DSP processing, experimental improved audio accuracy. Maybe that will help with all of those glitches we get. Let's try that. Let's go to display and let's crank this up to a 5 times native resolution. Why not? Oh, now we're really lagging, but it does look beautiful with that upscale. Let's try and bring that down to a 2 times upscale. This looks really nice now. I wish we could run this smoothly. 1 times resolution was really blocky. Let's try 2 times. Oh, that looks pretty nice. Not too bad. That's not bad. So let's now take Jenna's piece because she's a chump. We still have the very, very dodgy audio. Let's carry on. We're going to checkmate her with this pawn. Oh. If you want to sit here and play chess like this on Xbox, and I don't know why anybody would, but if you did want to, it's definitely playable. It still has the scratchy audio, but apart from that, it's running pretty well. What? I thought I was about to win because I just took their queen. Well, let's move on to the next game. Next up, Dead or Alive 3. I'm quite quietly optimistic about this game because when I tried this game on Dreamcast, it ran beautifully. So let's see how Xbox can handle it. The audio sounds okay so far. It's definitely a little bit stuttery, but not too terrible. We're also able to navigate through the menu pretty smoothly. This looks good to me. Let's try survival mode. I just pushed the wrong button. Let's try again, survival mode. I'll once again be Tina like I was in the previous video, the American woman who only speaks Japanese. This time she doesn't speak at all. And oh, we are slow. I think I just murdered somebody. Oh, we are very, very slow. The game looks okay. What's really strange about this is that it's not stuttering, it's just so slow. It just runs about half speed, if that. What I'll do now is I'm going to, in post-production, speed up this video until it looks somewhat normal. And let me know how that looks in the video description. Maybe I could just post this entire YouTube video at 3 times speed and fool everybody that I've got the emulator working perfectly. That was a bit rude. So this is yet another game that's not working well. I'd really love to turn up the settings here. I'm very curious by this system memory setting, but every time I try and set it, it says I have to restart the game. I tried to open the emulator Xemu by itself so I could set up these settings, but when I try, nothing happens. And if we come through the menu to Tools, Start Xemu, we just don't get anything. I think I need to work more on setting that up. If anyone knows how to fix this, please let me know in the comments below. But for now, we're going to work with what we've got and carry on and see if we can get anything running. I did say in the beginning of this video to not get your hopes up. I think it's just awesome we can even attempt this because this is a very immature emulator. Next up, we have Fable, another real classic game. Once again, we immediately jump into some kind of visual scene. We don't just get a black screen, so that's great. And it's not long before we lose all optimism. Here we go, new game. I will say if you want a good audio experience in your games, you probably don't want to even touch this state of Xemu at the moment. Let me put my tiny little microphone up to the Retroid Pocket 5 so you can hear how it sounds. It's definitely not ideal. As we run around, I think we're getting a frame rate of about 5 frames per second maybe. This is absolutely horrible. I'm not even going to spend any more time on this because this is clearly not playable at all. Let's move on to the next game and pray for a miracle. Next up is Family Guy. I feel like this just might run more easily because it's a cartoony game, and I feel like it's not going to be such a grand scope of a game like Fable. I have no reason to believe it will run well, I'm just optimistic. What was that? Straight away, this is by far the quickest game I've played. This actually feels like real time and real speed. I can't believe this. We still have the audio problems, but I think we might have a working game here. I pushed the right trigger and I now don't have any movement. I may have spoken too soon. I now seem to be stuck in some kind of camera control. I'm going to quit the level and reload. I'm actually getting quite excited about this. What's going on here? Okay, I relaunched the game and once again I can move again. Let me be very careful about what buttons I press. Again, this is a cartoony game, so it looks great on the screen. It almost doesn't even look real. I think this is running at a solid 30 frames per second. I'm filming this video at 60 frames per second, so you should be able to see very clearly if it's working well or not. Guys, I'm extremely happy that we've got one working game because I honestly, truthfully, did not expect we'd get even a single game working here. So the fact that we've got this one, I'm so happy right now. Because it just shows potential. It shows the potential of a future where we can emulate Xbox games here on the Retroid Pocket 5 or various other devices. The audio is still completely messed up, but if we're getting a solid 30 frames per second, I can let that slide. At least for now, given the state of the emulator. Well, this game seems to be running really well, so let's try upscaling it a bit. Let's first of all try a 2 times upscale. We're now definitely lagging a little bit. I don't think 2 times is going to be possible. But now let's just try something like 5 times upscale because I just want to see what it looks like. 4 times upscale. Oh, that looks very nice. It's a shame it doesn't work. And now for the final test, 10 times upscale. Now that is a sharp image. And I thought this would just completely crash the game, but we are actually still able to keep playing with this 10 times upscale. And of course, we're not really getting a very good frame rate. But we are still running the game. And what's funny is, I think this with a 10 times upscale is running better than any game we've played so far. So let's go back to our 1 times resolution. And we have one game checked off the list. The Family Guy game, completely playable on Xbox on the Retroid Pocket 5. Let's move on to the next game, FIFA 06. I've skipped the menu because FIFA love their copyright music. This one seems to have the opposite problem of all the other games. It feels like it's running in fast motion. Everything seems too fast, but also a little bit choppy. Oh, hello. Oh! Regular watchers of the channel might know that I'm a big Arsenal fan and always play as Arsenal in these games. Arsenal usually wear red, but this one year, 2006, they wore a commemorative burgundy jersey. So it's pretty cool to see that in the game. I think the fact this feels so fast, it might just be how the game was, because FIFA did used to be a lot more arcadey than it is now. Maybe Arsenal just had faster players. Because this was back when they were actually quite good. We're definitely not getting a consistent 30 frames per second. There are quite a lot of stutters happening, but I will say it's one of the better performers we've had so far. I would say it's at least sometimes looking like 30 frames per second, but I would say we're mostly around probably 20, and sometimes stuttering and dipping down quite a lot. I'd love to continue playing until I score a goal, but it's honestly just not very fun in this state. And it's really hard to string passes together with this amount of stuttering. So I think I'd probably put this second on the list so far in terms of playability. I would still not say this is playable because I love football games and I really just want to stop playing this now. So this game is very nearly playable but not quite. So let's move on to the next game. Next up we have Forza Motorsport. This is the very first Forza, I believe. Forza number 1, the one that started it all. Let's jump into this and see how it runs. And we're experiencing an issue we haven't experienced so far yet, which is the settings are all blank. We have some options to pick between, but there's no text. So if you can try and look at this and figure out what's going on, it seems we're choosing if we want to wear a helmet or not. There's one guy with a big nose and one guy with a helmet. So I believe it's either choosing, do you want to ride a motorbike or a bicycle? Or I'm going to guess this is asking how familiar you are with driving games, if you're a pro or a beginner. That's just my pure guess, so I'm going to say I'm a pro. Once again, we have no text in our menus. As I said earlier in the video, this era of video game, you can usually just keep smashing the confirm button and get into some kind of game. And it does seem to be working that way. That does not look great. Oh, we're being counted down. Time to go. So, guys, this is what the first Forza looked like. I think they definitely improved it in future versions because they added cars on top of the shadows. We're going to put this as the worst performer so far, quite comfortably. And let's just jump into the next game immediately. So next up, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. And I keep saying it, but another classic. We have this weird kind of flickering on the left side of the screen here. It's like it doesn't fully fill the frame. And of course, as soon as I start talking about that, it fixes itself. I'm being told to get onto this bike, but none of the buttons are actually doing that. I can kick or punch the bike, but I can't get on it. Which is a shame, because this seems to be running quite smoothly. So let's see if we can maybe get in something else. Oh, we can have a... Oh, I'm actually just trying to get into your car. Sorry. Oh, the fight is on. Oh. Oh no, there's a police officer. A very ineffective police officer. Oh, the gun's literally shooting by itself, officer. Oh my gosh, there's so much action going on. All I wanted was to get on my bicycle, I swear. And then of all the vehicles to end my life, it's an ambulance. What a game. This is actually running pretty well, I'd say. I'm not really sure of the viability of this, seeing as you can just run the Netflix version of this from the Play Store, but it's running pretty well. I just need to figure out how to get in a vehicle. As soon as I said it was running well, it froze, so more work may be needed, but I have high hopes for that one actually. That seemed to be running pretty great. Now let's get into the next one. The heavy hitter, the quintessential Xbox game, Halo Combat Evolved. I don't have high hopes. Campaign. It looks pretty smooth so far. I looked to the left and the game crashed. Oh, it's back. It's a very familiar feeling. Very slow and sluggish with crackly audio. I think that's pretty much what you can expect from Xemu on the Retro Pocket 5 right now. The cutscene plays nice and smoothly. And oh, it seems smooth-ish as I run around. Definitely a little bit better than some of the other games we played. My right thumb is starting to hurt. I've had a lot of comments about the ergonomics of the Retroid Pocket... Oh, food's here! I've had a lot of comments about the ergonomics of the Retroid Pocket 5. People often ask, is the left stick uncomfortable? And the answer is yes, sometimes, because it would be so much better if it was here. You are stretching a little bit, and I find myself over time changing grip between this and this. But it's not too bad. The right stick is always comfortable for me. It's never uncomfortable. But today I'm experiencing discomfort for the very first time. And the reason is, every game today, the camera is so slow, I have to hold it like this for such a long time that I'm straining my thumb. Halo seems to be running around 20 frames per second at a guess. I wish I had the FPS counter on the screen, but again, you're watching this in 60 frames per second, so you can get a feel of how smooth this is. Not smooth at all is the answer, but definitely smoother than Battlefield was, but I still would not call this playable. I haven't even picked up a gun yet, and it's honestly not very fun to play, just moving around. On another note, I just got my food delivery, which is a deep cheese chicken burger, which is delicious, and Cajun fries, which are similarly delicious. This is from a place called Mum's Touch. Yeah, I'm not really sure about the name, but it is delicious. I've also just realized my camera's about to run out of memory. I downloaded a lot more Xbox games than I realized, and I still have all of these to test. So I think for everyone's sake, we're going to have to split this video in half, and I'll be back again tomorrow testing the second half of games. So far we have the Family Guy game running beautifully, and not really much else. So let's hope and pray tomorrow will be a better day for Xbox emulation. I hope this video was helpful and useful. If it was, please give me a like and subscribe if you didn't already. And if you do want to pick up your own Retroid Pocket 5, I would not suggest it for Xbox emulation, but check out what it can do in my other videos, and if you would like to pick up one, please consider using my affiliate link. That is an affiliate link to the official Retroid website, and I'll make a small commission if you use that link, so I will greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much. If you'd like to chat with me, check out the Discord link in the description too, and I'll see you again tomorrow, where we'll continue and conclude this Xbox testing, before moving on to PlayStation 3 testing. So there's a lot to look forward to on the Ryan Retro channel. See you again tomorrow. Have a lovely day. Bye.